Yeah, welcome everyone to the Flux Dev Meeting. Today is Wednesday, the 15th of February. Go back through the agenda. So there's a couple of open action items from last time. The first one was image reflector controller API upgrade. And OCI media type change. Did any one of you work on this, or does anyone have
I
an
think
update?
it was a mistake. It should have been in topics.
Aha, okay. Okay. All right. If you have any agenda items, please add them to the document. The first one we have right now is the current GA dev focus, and the question if there's any blockers or if anyone needs help. Just taking a look at the maintainers focus board. I'm not quite sure if there's anything that is blocked or needs help.
There's anything to discuss as such, because we covered a lot like the previous meeting. Like from my side, we it's just the Git reference stuff that the PR needs to be approved and merged, and then we can do like a new source control release with the new reference name API and the Git checkout strategy. And yeah, that's it from my side.
And do you need any help with that? Do you need somebody to review the PR?
Yeah, no, I already have reviewed. I think Sunny is reviewing it on its like Sunny has done a review and I think he's on it anyway.
Okay. Does anyone have anything else?
I can mention again that image reflector V1 beta 2 API is ready and will be released in the next Flux release. We have a link in the previous meeting notes. Just paste it again. So if anybody is interested, they can have a last review. We will be merging it today, maybe.
Excellent. What about the Bootstrap GA focused PRs? Or is that the same?
I think it's about if there is anything specific to our V1 goal, we can discuss here. I don't think we have anything right now.
Yeah.
Maybe we can discuss about the Google Summer of Docs. We wanted
Sure.
some information from you about it. What's
Yeah,
the
sure.
process?
Yeah, let me share my screen. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Super. So the process for this is that we as an organization, as the Flux project, need to apply at Google. So the registration opened today, but we still have around 4 or 5 weeks to apply. I started writing up the application, and I went through some of the old documentation issues we've received over the years, and also we reached out. There's a tech docs team at the CNCF. We also reached out to them in the past, and they basically did an assessment of the documentation back then. We worked through a lot of their feedback already, but there's a couple of points that are still relevant today. The idea when writing up a project application is that you try to fix 1 or 2 bigger overarching problems in your documentation. It's not like, okay, here's like 15 issues, go fix them, or please write these guides for us, but it's more you try to fix like an overarching problem that is easy for some technical writer to resolve. So let's say we get our application accepted. The next step is that Google is essentially going to interview technical writers who apply to be, technical writers for the program, and then they have essentially the summer, essentially 3 months to work on this. And yeah, the application is one. We explain what we want, what the scope of the project is going to be, then how we're going to measure the success later on. And then we also need to write up a bit of a project budget, which is, I mean, I just made this up, I just put some numbers in there, and yeah, some additional information. So after reviewing the open issues, what I did was that I thought, in general, what I think might be interesting would be to make it easier for users to navigate our documentation. Right now, for example, we have guides, we have the use cases docs, we have a bunch of things in our documentation where it's not quite easy to find your way around. So, for example, what people suggested to us, also the CNCF Tech Docs people, was that we reorganize the information architecture so that, for example, we would say, okay, day 1, like bootstrap and installing everything could be one section, and another big section could be operations, like day 2, and everything. Maybe that an information architecture like this could make things easier for users and easier to find their way around. That could be one part. Also, maybe that we find out from the questions we're getting on the Flux Slack channel, for example, which core concepts people don't understand. If we get like a lot of very simple questions and we need to go back, okay, you need to learn about customize or whatever it might be, that we try to do a better job of referring to the core concepts earlier and more visibly, so that we don't have to explain as much on Slack and elsewhere. And then there were some questions about part 3, or ideas back in the past to make the docs which explain how to install Flux a bit easier, if they could be broken up or whatever. I don't know. I just made this up from the issues we already had and from feedback I got from users, but you're the experts and you interact with Flux users much more often. So I'm happy to take whatever feedback you have and factor this in.
One requirement we had, I don't know if it would fit in any of these, was to restructure the, what's that page? Cheat sheet page.
Yeah.
Cheat sheet, the page is very long, has a lot of things. We had some discussion last year around breaking them into different use cases so that each page is like focused on certain tasks that people want to achieve. Do. So does it fit in any of these?
Yeah, maybe. I could imagine that we would need to figure out for ourselves, like what goes into a cheat sheet, what is a task, and what is a use case, because right now I think we use a lot of these terms somewhat interchangeably. Yeah, that could be a good one. I'll note this down. Maybe that could be like a preliminary work item for a technical writer to maybe also review how our other CNCF projects or open source projects, how do they use the terms? How did they break up their documentation? And maybe the tech doc people can help with that too. And which of the cheat sheets did you feel was getting too long and somewhat out of hand? Was it the Bootstrap one?
Need to check. I think it's the Bootstrap one. Or overall, I think the idea was cheat sheet is like something to get something really quick.
Yeah.
But most of the content in these cheat sheets are like proper guides, the proper full documentation. It's
Right.
not like really short things. So they can have their own dedicated page.
Yeah. Super. That is great feedback. Thank you.
So these are like, as a project, we are submitting this to Google. These are like project ideas, right?
Yes.
And then the people who are trying to participate, they would submit their proposal as well, right?
Exactly. So the technical writers, they apply to Google. And as far as I understand it, they are going to do the matchmaking between projects and writers. And for us, it
we don't.
Yeah.
We don't interact with them directly initially.
Oh, we do, but I think only when they're selected already.
So we don't decide.
I think we can interact with them before that as well. Like they can reach out to us on Slack and then ask what exactly, if they have any doubts about our ideas, and like if they need any help with proposal, if they need like a pair of eyes over their proposal.
Yeah.
I think it's allowed.
Okay, yeah, I'll read up on that again. I was under the impression that, sure, but if they have questions earlier, we would definitely help them understand the project.
Usually in Summer of Code, it's like the people who are participating, they're already in touch with the maintainers. And maintainers select the people who they think will be able to work on those things. But in this case, you're saying Google will be deciding, which seems opposite.
I'm just reading up on this.
I think so. First off, as far as I know, like a couple of years back. So CNCF, so we can't apply as like the Flux project. We apply under the CNCF umbrella, if I'm not wrong. Like we can't, Flux as a project cannot apply to, I mean, I guess we can, but usually CNCF projects apply under the umbrella of CNCF. So, and CNCF like calls for proposals from projects, like, and then CNCF submits all of them, and then I guess Google decides some of them. So it's not like all CNCF projects will get one or two mentees. It's like some projects might get zero mentees. It's pretty random.
Okay, I will talk to the CNCF Tech Docs people. They will know. Super. Okay. Yeah, if you have any other bits and pieces you think we should fix in our docs that could be, accomplished with the same project, let me know. But this feedback was already very, very useful. Cool. Yeah. Does any one of you have any more things to talk about?
Just something just came to my mind. The new Git clone strategy. Are we also adding a new flag for it in the CLI? Do we
Pardon?
have, when you create a Git repository object using the CLI, you can pass the reference, right?
Oh,
So do we have to introduce a new flag
Yep.
for this?
Yep.
Did you plan for it?
No, but I can do
Did we
it.
discuss this before?
When source controller gets released, I can do it.
Just thinking about it.
Yeah, that's valid. Yeah, thanks for raising that.
Again, this can be another good first bug issue. Somebody else can implement it. Seems simple.
Yeah, but I think we're targeting this feature for the next release, right? So, and we want this release, the next release to be this week, if I'm not wrong.
Huh. I don't know if this should be a blocker. I don't know. Because in case of the beer token feature that we added, we didn't add a similar flag in the CLI, and it was fine. But in this case, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess we can just release source controller and like just not have the CLI support it, and then the next version of the CLI would support it. That should be fine.
Support will be in controller, but may not be in CLI.
Hidde just said in the meeting chat that he thought the reference name would be included in this release.
I think it will be in the CLI level, controller level, but don't know if it would be in the CLI level. Can I have it?
I can speak again. I think the whole release cycle of all the controllers should buy sufficient time to add a single flag into the create command. It shouldn't be that much of work. It basically just is a flag which gets then forwarded through the or to the name in the object or to the field in the object.
Yeah, the feature itself is pretty simple. It's just if we want an external contributor to pick it up, then there's no definitive timeline. Right? But if we want to do it ourselves, we can just do it ourselves. Take like an hour or two. Like first, like for example, that as Sunny said, the bearer token feature, we marked it as a good first issue for the CLI, and then we had an external contributor working on it. So if you want something like that, then there's no thing when that PR will be moved.
Yeah, either sounds good to me. Just if it's filed as an issue or left over, it's good.
I filed the issue.
I think we can create more such issues. So in like, noticed yesterday that a lot of the Git package, they have a mix of assertion libraries. So it can be a good first bug again. Somebody can just work on changing them.
Yeah, and I think for the CLI in general, there are also some simple fixes. I ran into the gold files not updating today when I tried to file a PR. I fixed that, but while fixing that, I discovered like a dozen of other nitpicks that should really be addressed, like export sometimes emits two new lines at the end of a file, which just is annoying because if you want to have a clear single file, which for example the GitHub UI also isn't going to complain about, then you then you need to basically delete one of them. I noticed that in some of our unit and end-to-end tests of the CLI, we are not properly making use of the Go testing libraries temp directory feature, but instead are manually trying to delete single files, which are then feed into tests as an argument. I think that could be refactored into something that's much better, in which you don't have to worry anymore about anything you put into the directory. Yeah, and some other things. But I will raise them first in the PR I've filled and then try to move them into an issue. Oh, and another thing worth looking into when we are reviewing things is that I noticed that we are using defer a lot in tests, which doesn't trigger if you call tfatal. And because it's often triggered to, for example, run OS remove or something else that properly cleans something up somewhere on the file system, it is worth to change those into tcleanup. I did a round within my own PR, but I only checked the CMD package and not any of the other internal things we have.
Okay. Is there anything else anyone wanted to discuss or you need help? Okay. Yeah, I guess in that case, we can wrap up early. Have a great day, everyone. And see you on Slack. Bye.
See ya.